Hey, we are live. Hmm. Nashville is better. Ha, 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 ha. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us this evening, this Tuesday evening. And today we are going to be discussing Atlanta versus living in Atlanta, Georgia versus living in Houston, Texas. So the reason this topic came up is because I think these are very popular cities that a lot of people, when deciding to move down south, are a bit torn in between. They have a lot of similarities, I'm not going to lie, also a lot of differences for sure. And I feel as if, why not make this video talking about Atlanta versus Houston, Texas? And it's enough, I actually know a girl who just moved from Atlanta. I should send her this live, Atlanta to Houston, and she talks about how she loves Houston so much better, so much better, like night and day. So actually, I'm gonna send her this live just to see. I would love for her to even join in at the end and give her point of view on the two cities, since she's actually lived in them. Is going to be quite challenging probably to meet people who might have lived in both cities. For me personally, anyone that knows, my name is Nnena and I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I am definitely way more familiar with Atlanta versus Houston. And Ngozi lives in Houston, Texas. And the reason why this topic was brought up is because Ngozi was in Atlanta over the weekend for a conference. And yeah, she also lives in Houston. So I just figured let us discuss this topic now, because it was just perfect timing.
All right. Thanks for the introduction, everyone. Please like this video. We're going to get right into it, but we appreciate all you all joining. We're live on a Tuesday. As you mentioned, we may stick with the Tuesdays a bit better. Monday's still a little rough, weekend recovery, and I just got back yesterday, so we decided to do Tuesday. You guys, the sun sets at 5:30 p.m. right now due to daylight saving. Like, it's crazy. Like, winter's really here. Today's 84 degrees. So I'm just trying to enjoy the last couple of nice days of summer before the weather really goes
At least you actually get out early. How about
cold.
people like us that don't get out till
There's
6?
5:30. Imagine working 9 to 5. By the time you get home, it's dark. You're driving in darkness. Like, it's pitch black outside right now. So, we did gain an hour, so that's good, but then it makes it dark quicker. But yeah, so Atlanta versus Houston, we have a lot of relocation content. If you haven't watched it, make sure you check out our playlist afterwards. We have a Houston, Texas playlist and a Charlotte, North Carolina playlist. And we've compared, Charlotte and Raleigh. We've never lived in Raleigh, yes, but we've been there. We have some familiarity with it. We compared Charlotte and Houston. Of course, you both live there, so those are easy. We compared New York, I believe, to Charlotte, NYC area. So it's really great to, compare major cities. Like we mentioned, people are moving, and usually people are choosing major cities to relocate to. Atlanta is very interesting because I first visited Atlanta in 2020 as an adult.
Are you serious?
Yes, I know we went to Georgia like for basketball camps and stuff, but I never had been to Atlanta. 2020 was my first time, and my first time going to Houston. So
That's
2020 was a
the first
year.
time. I went for RCCG Young Adult Conference in
Okay, that was my first time going to Atlanta in 2020. And to be honest, Atlanta is really cool. Like, I like it. I like the vibe. I like the so much to do. Honestly, when people comparing it, being that I've been in Houston almost 2 years now, it's crazy. Atlanta and Houston are cousins. Okay,
Mm,
they're cousins. They're not twins. They're not sisters. They're cousins, and I'm going to go into detail. So I came back yesterday. This is my fourth time in Atlanta or fifth time. I can't recall. So of course I don't live there. None doesn't live there. But like you mentioned, we go there enough times. It's not like it's somewhere I've been to once. ATL stand up is in the building. Anyone in Atlanta, put ATL in the chat. ATL stand up, represent your city. I've been to Atlanta enough times. I've been to stuff where I feel like I can give a decent, opinion, talk about it to an extent. So first, we have to always start with the statistics. So it shocked me too. I personally thought Atlanta was much bigger, but
no.
Houston, population wise, is like 6 times Atlanta. So
You thought
Houston,
Atlanta was bigger than Houston? Or
no,
you just
but I thought it was bigger than what it is.
got it, got
So
it.
Houston is the fourth largest city in America. Like we always mention, is preceded by number one New York, number two LA, and number three Chicago. All right. So Houston has 2.2 million people as of 2023, and the area is 640 square miles. All right. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. 640 square miles, fourth largest city. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Atlanta is. I thought it was here. Where's Atlanta? I thought it was. Where's Atlanta? Atlanta, you were just here. Right? Okay. Atlanta is number 39 in most populated cities in America. Okay. With a population of 490,000. So, like, let's say 500,000. Houston is 2.2. So, Houston is more than four times the population of Atlanta, which surprised me because I know, of course, Houston was bigger, but I didn't know it was that much bigger.
But I
And
see it, Atlanta seems like it's more densely populated than Houston.
look, and then Atlanta has 135 square miles. So Houston is like over four times the size, almost five times the actual size of Atlanta as well. So the population makes sense, right? It's basically equal. If you're doing it based on the ratio, it's very proportional. Just that Houston is just bigger. So you mentioned density. The density, I don't know. They do this by square miles. I don't know how they calculate this density, but yeah. So Atlanta is smaller, has a smaller population. When you do the math, it's basically the ratio wise, it ends up being very similar. Okay, so I'll start off, I guess, by talking about the similarities between Atlanta and Houston, right? So please like this video. We're gonna get into it. Like this video. I gotta share it. Sorry, with a few more people. Hold on.
You know, you can share the videos before. Right?
I know, but I'm always doing something else. That's the problem. Okay, so make sure you guys like this video. We're gonna start off with the similarities. All right, similarities in Atlanta and Houston. Like I said, there's cousins, right? I think one of the similarities between them, I would say, is the nightlife. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel as if when you think about major cities in America, I'm embarrassed. I haven't been to Miami. Please, please, no one don't. I've never been. I know
Doing.
I'm embarrassed, but when you think of like major cities in terms of nightlife, and especially when it pertains to Black people and also like the African scene, I feel like Atlanta and Houston, like no one's sitting with them. Like they're top two.
Diversity in general, diversity.
Yeah, diversity in general, like just especially for Black people in general. Talk about the nightlife partying, the amount of the way people go in at the club, spending. I don't know if y'all saw that Instagram thing. I saw it too late. Nena should have told me check Insta. I was off Instagram over the week because I'm like, I just want to focus on what I traveled for. But this girl has showed that she was in the Red Room, a club in Atlanta, and she asked the guy to send her 5K. He sent it to her. I was like, damn, I was at the wrong club on Saturday. So just thinking about nightlife, like when I go to Atlanta, I see that similarity in terms of like if you go all Buford Highway, they have it's just strips of clubs, like which like
And
in a
it's
lot
that
of,
same weird setup that y'all have in
and
Houston.
we mentioned number
Like
two.
the
That's the thing we
strip,
mentioned. Everything is in strips. What's the term? Is it
strip malls.
strip malls? Literally, that's Atlanta is the same. It's so weird how you go to a club and it's like in a strip mall, Popeyes is here, this little store is here, the laundromat is right next. Like it's not separate. So everything is like connected. That's exactly how Atlanta is. Houston is just like that. Just like that. The clubs are in strip malls, things are in strip malls. It's the same setup. Okay. Another thing I also find similar is that a lot of people claim Houston, claim Atlanta, but they don't necessarily live in it. So it's like the same kind of concept, right? Like Atlanta is like the major city, Houston's a major city, but a lot of people live in the suburbs. So, if you have Atlanta, but people can live like in Duluth or Marietta, excuse me, or what are some other popular ones? Petra, help me. There's other popular suburbs.
It's so far, and the way you got to drive. Same thing. I feel like Atlanta's similar to Houston. A lot of driving. You got
Yes, listen.
a lot of
So,
driving.
same way with Houston. A lot of people will say they live in Houston, of course, because if you tell someone who's not from Texas you live in Cypress, they're not gonna know what that is. You tell them you live in Missouri City, they don't know what that is. Spring, Humble, they don't know what that is. So a lot of people, they go through both. Like they claim the city, but they actually live in the suburbs. And I understand why, because it's set up and it's just easy to say I'm from Atlanta, I'm from Houston. Another similarity I noticed is what would I say? Food. I think they both are known for having like for the most part good food. Like we went to where like the weights were crazy. We ended up going to Toast Lennox. The brunch is really good. They have that same like brunch culture, food culture, reservations. Everyone's always outside. Everyone's always doing something. Everyone's always eating. Blah blah blah. So I think that's also very similar between the two cities. What else would I say? Some similarities.
They're both warm. Both
Yeah, it was nice this weekend. Yes, compare. I think, of course, Houston's a little warmer, but Atlanta still has pretty good weather. Yeah, it was still like 70s high, like 72 over the weekend, which is pretty high, compared to other places right
good
now.
food for the foodies. Good
I
food.
said food. I said the food. They're big on food, big on brunching. A lot of restaurants, a lot of places to eat. And overall, Atlanta probably more so because of course it has a larger Black population, but they really cater to Black people, which is a big thing. Like we mentioned, a lot of major cities do not do. That's just the reality. Like only few cities can really brag and say, you can go to somewhere that is nice and it looks good and everyone there is Black. Like it's not like
DC,
yeah,
Atlanta.
DC is known as Chocolate City back in the day. Yeah, so only a few cities in America that can brag of that. And Atlanta and Houston definitely are two of them. I mentioned that they're cousins, okay? They mentioned that they are cousins. So we have to say there's some differences, okay? I don't want to be biased, so I'm gonna speak to say what I gotta say, and of course try and stay a little politically correct. Okay, Petra's name in the suburbs: McDonough, Durham, Smyrna. Oh yeah, Smyrna. Yeah. So yeah, same concept. What I would say the difference is that Atlanta, I don't know how do I say it. Atlanta is like, I don't know, like there's a vibe there every time I go there that's very different than is very different
A
than
good vibe or a bad vibe?
mm, kind of both. Okay, let's be real. Let's talk about elephant in the room. A lot of women will make videos about Atlanta. And people always comment, "Oh, if you're a single woman, don't go to Atlanta." And like Atlanta is pretty, LGBT friendly, LGBTQIA. It's pretty friendly. Like it really like caters to like that type of crowd. So I understand why people say that, especially as women, because to me, that I won't even lie. We're gonna have an honest conversation. One of the big things I noticed in Atlanta is just the men. And it's not necessarily about sexuality. You won't even get that deep because end of the day, you don't really know someone's sexuality unless they tell you. But I just feel as if the men give off a very feminine vibe
Hmm.
overall. Like I'm telling me, my cousin was going, we came and I was explaining to her. So we was in Phipps Plaza, y'all. I went to House of CB. I was about to get in trouble. House, okay, for example, there's
I
certain things that Atlanta has that nowhere else, like place, like right now, there's only a House of CB in Atlanta and Melrose, California. So
wow.
of course, no matter what people will say, Atlanta still has like that, like
It's on another like a luxury level.
yeah, like there's certain things that they're gonna just put in Atlanta because of the art audience. People are doing well. People, like it just still has that vibe. So we were going out and I was trying to explain to her.
Atlanta's faster than Houston. That's a fact. It's a faster city.
Yes,
I think
okay,
so.
I can see that. So
Yeah.
when I'm talking about the men being a bit feminine, is like you'll see guys who look very like they don't. People have this idea of like feminine when you mean like someone is like no. Like you'll see guys who are just look very just regular, and then when you start talking to them, you get like this vibe from them. I don't know how to explain it. So I can understand why people would say like dating is more difficult there because it's
I've never experienced that at
no,
all.
I was okay. Okay, example. I was I went to Lennox Mall 3 times in 24 hours, y'all. This is the. Let me give you examples. Differences. The Lennox Mall, I hear so much about it. Also, hear they be having like shootouts and stuff in there. I hear so much about Lennox. I walked through that whole mall. I was like, this is it. Like for y'all that are in Houston, and I hope you start going through the comments. Galleria Mall to me, like shits on Lennox. Like it's not. It was very like to me. It was very basic. Like they had
Where they have like shootings and stuff.
yeah, but it's like supposed to be like a high brows and Buckhead. Supposed to be like they're like nice, like big mall. You had a few stores like I noticed had Audemars. I've never seen that store like in real life. Like yeah, but it wasn't like the Galleria Mall is way better to me. For example, like that at Galleria Mall is way better than that to me. But Phipps Plaza was nice as well. So what I'm talking about, one of the differences I mentioned that about I can see where the stereotypes for the dating come out. I definitely can see him. Another difference I feel like I would notice is that oh, thanks, Belnor. Make sure you like the video. Everyone like this video because I'm about to get into it. Another difference I notice is that Atlanta to me is a bit ratchet. Like it's a bit more ratchet. Like despite I'm not saying that trust me, there's spots in Houston that can get real ratchet. I'm not saying that Houston is perfect. I'm not saying that is so great everywhere. You know, ratchet is everywhere. It is what it is. It's not necessarily a bad thing, right? But I feel as if from what I've seen, the times I've gone, in terms of yeah, like they have a lot of nice black establishments. They cater to like a nice crowd. They have a nice, professional young crowd. I still feel like overall, Houston gives me a classier vibe. And
Interesting.
even I tell you, I met a esthetician over the summer when I had went out by myself to like new spot, and like I was with like a bunch of other people, and she said she lived in Atlanta for 8 years, and she just moved this year. And the main reason she moved is that she wanted one of the main reasons she moved is Atlanta was getting a little too ratchet for her, and hands down, Houston is classier. She said out her own mouth, this is someone that lived in Atlanta for 8 years, and she was like, Atlanta's a bit ratchet. Like she felt like Houston gives like a better, like a more upscale vibe, and I personally agree. I personally agree as someone who has gone out in both, and of course I live in Houston. I'm a little biased. I'm not going to sit here and act like there's no bias involved, but I personally feel like Houston gives a bit more of a upscale vibe. That's my personal opinion. Okay. So make sure you're liking this video. I'm gonna keep going through some of the Miss
People
Murray.
said 100% accurate about the non-masculine men in Atlanta.
It's legit. Like you will see, it's not even about people think masculine is about having muscles and being no. Like it's deeper than that. Like they just have a very feminine vibe to them. Even the ones who are 6'6" and built and walking around, they're very feminine.
Ms. Mermaid said, "LO, I knew that's where you were going. That's called trade. I've never heard of the term trade." Works World said, "I don't like Atlanta. It's ugly." Sultan's Culture said, "Hola, hey." Ms. Mermaid said, "Maybe it skews younger because it's so accessible. I feel like you can move to Atlanta with next to nothing, and people do. So like it's kind of like yeah, I think that's a good segue to say I feel like Atlanta is a place with a very entrepreneurial spirit. A lot of people who want to. Houston is very business savvy as well.
As well, but Atlanta, of course, is more black business focused, right? So you see a lot of black people able to really do well business wise. A lot of famous black people live in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Compared to in Houston, yeah, you Drake is coming, 50 Cent is here. You know, some people come and go, but you can't compare it to Atlanta. Like Atlanta it's like the black Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like even I was watching Tyler Perry today on The
Me too.
View. He was talking about, he opened up like the first, like his studio was there. Like there's just certain things that Atlanta can brag on that no other city, state they can't brag on it. Like Atlanta definitely, it's different. Oh, where are you right now? So
I think Sultan Culture is in Charlotte with me. If I'm,
I think it depends in terms of what I think it is still
I
slightly
think
because
it is.
remember Texas doesn't pay state taxes. And even the sales tax in Atlanta is 8.9%. It's basically 9%. I feel like that's pretty high. I don't know. Let me check what Houston's is. I think it's no, I don't think it's up to 8%. I think Houston's still a bit more affordable.
I have Houston as being what is the cost of living in Atlanta versus Houston? The cost of living in Houston, Texas is 8.8% lower than in Atlanta, Georgia. You'd have to earn a salary of $54,700 to maintain your current standards of living. Employers in Houston, Texas typically pay 3.6% more than employers in Atlanta, Georgia. And this is from salary.com.
Yeah, I think Houston's a bit, a bit more. Let's go through some of the comments. Yeah, so I mentioned, the differences in terms of the men. I think it being a tad bit more ratchet. And also, okay, this is a big difference I noticed is that I know I've spoken on this channel about Houston being diverse, but there not being as much mixing as I was expect. But I feel like Atlanta is definitely like worst. Like I feel like
Really?
forget like Atlanta has white people. Like you'll drive through areas, you'll see them. Like even there's a clear difference between going to Lenox Mall and Phipps Plaza. I told my cousin Phipps Plaza is where the white people go. They're scared of Lenox. They're like literally not even. They're like across the street. Like just walking through, the demographic was so different. Like walking through Phipps Plaza, I barely saw black people. Versus Lenox was like everyone was black. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And they're like literally right next door. So that alone, that shows you like that segregation. You know what I mean? Like I feel like people forget Atlanta still has white people. Like if you we were driving through Buckhead Village, a bunch of white people there parked in their.
Buckhead is, I see a lot of white people.
But I'm saying in terms of it, I don't know. For Atlanta, I'm like I said, I don't live. I don't want to misquote. A lot of black people also live in Buckhead. So
Mhm.
it's not like you may see a lot of black people like in the mall and stuff, but they also do live there. But there's certain parts within Buckhead that are still very white. That like there's that like people others are not really penetrating into. So that's another thing I noticed. Even just going out, just like Atlanta is very like
My Atlanta people, let me know in the comment section.
it's
Would you
not.
agree when you go out? Do people mix? Because I know I can't. I could say in Charlotte, people definitely mix. Okay, even though there's a lot of black-owned establishments, I could say there's a lot of places that people like with the rooftops uptown. I would say people definitely mix, but it's common to see people stay with their own as well. It's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like a lot of people tend to stay with their demographic. When it comes to social, like where they go out, where they frequent, type of music they listen to. But I wouldn't for you to think that they don't mix at all. I think that's a
I would
bit.
say they don't mix at all, but I'm saying for where the places that I went to Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday going out, it's like it's all black. Like I didn't see white people there, and I didn't sit there and just go to only black spots per se. Like what I'm saying is like even a Friday we had an event. Of course, it was like I mean it was a black event, so the people at the event are going to be black. So maybe that's not a fair assessment,
Mhm.
but even just walking around, like I don't know, like I just feel as if it doesn't give me that like kumbaya vibe.
You feel like it's
Like, you
segregated.
forget you remember, oh, I'm in Georgia. Like even when you hear the white people talking, their accents are like, oh, like they sound like they're like from Mississippi or something. You remember, yeah, these people, they're voting for what's his face? Is it Kemp that's in Georgia?
Right, we're making an assumption. So culture said, I'm here in Charlotte. Yup, I figure. Isaiah said Buckhead is almost 80% white. Miss Mermaid, now you definitely see white people slash others. Haven said, I was finally able to visit Houston this past weekend. Woo chow. How was it? Mr. E, a lot of scammers in Atlanta. Miss Mermaid said, there are concentrated areas of blackness, but living there, you definitely see everyone on the regular. That's good. That's nice. Yeah, people are scammy in Atlanta. Song culture, so perhaps I don't mix. LOL.
Haven, how was your experience in Houston? But I'm just rounded up. Yeah, I'm gonna just round it up because my one friend also lived there, and she lived in Buckhead. And she was like saying like, oh, if she had all the money in the world, she would stay like in the nice part of Buckhead. So I know that Buckhead is majority white. Like I'm aware of that. But what I'm saying is that like, if you just went to Lenox Mall, you wouldn't think that. Is a point I'm making. Like legit, like
Is
it
Lennox
was.
small in Buckhead though?
Yes, it wasn't 80% white in Lenox Mall. It wasn't even 40% white. It wasn't even 25% white. Like you wouldn't think that if you were just someone walking through and you just go to the mall, you would think like, oh, I'm in a black neighborhood
Hmm.
because majority of people there are black. So I feel like that's what I'm trying to hit on. Like I said, maybe they go to Phipps Plaza, they're scared, white flight. They don't want to, they get scared or whatever. But Atlanta is cool. I like what I could say is that, location wise, it's not too far from Houston. It's really not even a 2 hour plane ride. I feel like it's like closer to the Northeast, so it's not too far from New York. It's not too far from like other places within, America. They have the biggest, y'all know Atlanta Hartsfield is the busiest airport in the world. I mentioned that in one video about why one of the videos why everyone is moving to Houston. Atlanta airport is the busiest airport in the world. That's crazy. Like
Wow.
oh,
In the world, not even in America.
America in the world. So the
Wow.
airport, they get a lot of traffic. A lot of people move through. A lot of flights come in here. I like Delta. They have a lot of good flights. So I feel like Atlanta is a cool place. But to me, I will always look at Atlanta as somewhere to visit. I
Hmm.
don't look at Atlanta as somewhere to live.
I feel
Like
like that too. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't look at Atlanta like, oh, I'm about to go live. Like I don't. Maybe if I was even maybe a little bit younger, I could see like younger people. I know people that have went to Atlanta first and now they're in Dallas. Now they're in Houston. Like I could see it being like that first step.
So it's kind of, are you saying it's like Charlotte? How you say you feel like Charlotte's
Kinda, yeah. Like I could see it being like that first step before you like make the decision to go somewhere else. But and I also mentioned age because when I think about lifestyle, like things to do, like I don't know. I feel like age is definitely a big factor because you get tired of certain things, right? I mean, as you get older, as you get more mature. Not to say that Atlanta doesn't have stuff to do besides the club, because I would be remiss. Like, come on now, they definitely do. They have a freaking studio. They have a lot of things to do. but I just feel as if I could see why maybe younger people would be more drawn to it at a certain point in their life. Like, they just have fun, you know. Also, too, they have HBCUs, you know, there. Like, that's a big thing, you know. So for a lot of people coming in there in for school, you know, that brings a whole other crowd, another environment that also makes it, like, you know, fun that you have that experience. So Atlanta's cool. Like, it's a cool place for sure. But I definitely, like I said, Atlanta and Houston are cousins. They're not sisters. They're definitely not twins. But I could definitely see why, you know, people would want to live there. But like I said, especially for women, I also understand like why there's that narrative about, oh, Atlanta, be careful. You know what I mean? Like, be careful. You know, people bring up these crazy statistics. There's 10 women for one man. There's 15 women for one man. You know, they love bringing these. They love bringing these extreme statistics that are not verified, because we even confirmed it was like 1.2 to 1 man. Like, one of the last
Oh, the
vibes.
fear mongering.
Yeah, that's fear mongering. So I don't know. But yeah,
It's like
Atlanta's
a video.
cool.
This mermaid said, "Oh wow, most Nigerians love Atlanta, Houston, and Maryland for sure. Those are the three: Atlanta, Houston, DMV for sure." Works World said most people live on outskirts of Atlanta, like Marietta. Petra says Smyrna. Another one is McDonough. Another one is Haram. I hope I'm saying that right. And then, yeah, okay.
Both of those.
We went through all of that. Atlanta is all smoke and mirrors. They also forget it's in Georgia. It's not a state. Same thing with Houston. I'm Team Houston. I don't see my husband being down there in Atlanta, I guess.
Oh, Belnor, how was Afrotech? You know, I'm so tight. I missed it. You got to tell us how Afrotech was.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then Mia, hey Mia, oh your picture's cute. I heard Houston dating scene is a slight better than Atlanta.
I believe it. I believe it.
The diversity and culture is primarily why I'm interested in being in Houston. I need to be around beautiful, thriving Black people. But wouldn't you still get that in Atlanta? That's what I'm curious, Bill Nord. If you're
Oh no,
saying that,
you're in Boston now, right? Where you're in Boston? Let us remind us where you are right now.
maybe it skews younger. Yeah, we already read this one. Little Ernest said Atlanta is mainly an entertainment capital in the South. I think that definitely makes a lot of sense. Haven, you have to let us know about Houston this past weekend. How long were you there? Do you feel like you had enough time? Because Houston's really big. I've been there a few times. I still feel like every time I go, there's so much I haven't done yet. Miss Murmur says scamologists for sure. They're talking about the scammers in Atlanta, but Houston. I don't know why you're coming for Atlanta as if Houston don't have the swipers. They have the
I
scammers.
I
You
think
think
Atlanta.
so?
Yeah. For a guy to send a girl, what? How much in the club?
5,000.
$5,000.
It's actually ridiculous.
I text my friend. We're going to the club this weekend. We're gonna see if we can get that in O2. Like,
Yes,
no.
go to T Haven. Yes, Lenox Mall was like being in Lagos. This
Yeah.
mermaid hate that airport. To be honest, you don't like Atlanta Airport. I haven't been there that often. That the lines at ATL Airport are
TSA pre-check. You
diabolical.
don't know about that. TSA pre-check.
Flying out of Atlanta Airport is affordable. Yes, especially if you live in Charlotte. A lot of flights will take you like Delta, the 40-minute flight straight to Atlanta, then from Atlanta to wherever you want to go. I see more younger individuals want to move to Atlanta due to the nightlife versus older individuals. I definitely agree with this, Mia. To me, if you told me Houston or Atlanta, me personally, I'll pick Atlanta. I still think I'll pick Atlanta again. I might be biased because I've been there a little bit more. It's closer to me. I've like it's more prox. I personally still would pick Atlanta, but I see what y'all are talking about. I like Nashville better than Atlanta. I like Charlotte Uptown too. Never been to
It's
Houston.
funny you mentioned that because I met a girl that I knew it, and she's in Nashville, and they were talking about how Nashville, like, they built it up, and it's just like not the same as it was before, and like everyone's moving there, and I
Hmm.
still haven't made it to Tennessee, but interesting that you mentioned that. I did like that you could hop on a train to the airport right from Midtown. Oh, really? Nice. And ATL is gay capital. It's very friendly, you know. Salt and court, there was a lot of sprawl. Driving situation was crazy. Going out was a whole thing. Too much involved just to go out, but the sprawl just took me out. Poor city plan. I told you, Haven, if- our number one video, what I wish I knew before moving to Houston. I talked about how going
Extreme
out in
sport.
Houston is an extreme sport. You have to, especially talk about nightlife, anything. It's like Atlanta. I said similarity in that section culture. Even not even just necessarily for the club. You can even just want to go to a lounge, everything, reservation, you gotta pay for parking, you have to do this. Every place has a day where it's hot, a time that is hot. You just can't walk into places on days to say, oh, I'm just gonna go here on a Friday at 6. No, it may not, it may be the spot at 10 p.m. because there's other spot that's popping at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Like going out, you have to be very strategic. I definitely understand what you're saying. Driving situation, yeah, everywhere is far if you're not staying within like the city center area, I would say. Like, but even then, when you go out, you have to park. Everywhere wants to charge you to park in lots that they know should be free. It should be
Hey, you charging me to park in the grass?
illegal what they're doing down here. Like, I don't understand it. In Atlanta, same thing. My friend had to pay $20 to park in a lot. These lots are public lots. Why are you guys charging people? Like, they want to make everything valet, everything pay. Like, it's just because they know people are so itchy to go outside that they'll pay it. That's the problem.
They can get y'all in Charlotte. People just stay home if they start doing all of that. Miss Mermaid said, "Yes, the trade ain't part of my repertoire. You picked up immediately. I got to do more research on this trade." Wow, thank you for this.
Rubana Chooks. Are you the doctor from one of our lives a couple weeks ago? Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Super chat, super chat. You know, he opened up the floor, but thank you.
Thank you. Song Culture said, "Thank you, Haven. Houston is the best."
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, when I think about it, I just like I literally think about it. I've had this conversation. I went to like a professional conference for work, and I always say if I'm going to move somewhere, it's probably going to be New Jersey because it's where I'm from and where the sector that I'm in is all the job, like everything is there.
For real. Why,
Everything is
why
there.
we not in New Jersey for real, for real?
Everything is
If
there.
we,
Like I
if
said,
we're 100% remote.
I'm not going to say like I can never move. My mother and father are not in Houston. I can go back to Jersey. I just have to have a man. Okay, I have to or married. I would have to be married to go back to Houston, to go back to Jersey. To
That's what it's for, family.
it's a great family. Don't have to put my gas. No taxes on clothes. Like we took a lot for granted in Jersey. Jersey, stand up. Anyone in Jersey, put NJ in the chat. That's my city. Jersey's my state. Okay, because I was repping it this weekend. My friends like, "What are you repping? What's in Jersey?" I said, "Be quiet. Leave my state alone." But
My biggest issue, what New Jersey drove me out, is the cold.
and weather, and they don't have they don't networking, just going out. They don't have venues. They don't have a setup for professionals, particularly young professionals, particularly Black young people to it, like
If you stay in Jersey, there's nothing to do.
social life was so difficult. I'm telling you, social life was so difficult. I won't even lie. I will give it to you. I understand, like, it's not for younger people. It's like Jersey's perfect for families. Perfect. You have paid family. You know, not every state does paid maternity, whatever leave off.
Jersey
Jersey,
will give you unemployment and actually give you close to what you are making, unlike
right? These other states give you the unemployment is trash. You know what I mean? Like, they're no Jersey, stand up, okay? But like I said, as it didn't have, I was getting tired. I was itching. I had to go.
I
But
was bored.
I don't see myself leaving Houston to go anywhere else. To be honest, I love Houston. It's not perfect, but I like it.
All right, King B, come with the controversy. Dallas is better than Houston and Atlanta.
Literally,
Reasons. King B, let us know the reasons.
give us reasons. Dallas is boring.
Also, I'm on the lookout for a Nigerian man, and everyone's saying to come collect in H Town. Yeah, you're going to the right place. Just be careful.
Make sure you collect the single one.
Atlanta has a lot of DL men. That is concerning. I'm not gonna lie. For a straight woman looking
Growing up, that's all you used to hear about. Like literally, oh, and it's not even about like it's not to say you don't want to go around being paranoid or whatever, but like I'm saying, you go out, you physically see it. So the reality is that like there are men who are portraying themselves as straight, who are messing, dating men who aren't, and they're married. And that's and not to say that can't happen anywhere, but well, come on now, somewhere where there's a lot to choose from, like it's something you have to consider. Like I have a guy friend who said he moved from Atlanta when he was out with his son, and his son asked him like, "Daddy, why are two men kissing?" And he knew, and it's not to say like we don't want to come off and say we're homophobic, but we understand like some people don't want their children growing up and making that and having that be like their norm. Like, and I get it, I understand it, I respect it. Like, it's different. It's different down
And
there.
where is that person now that moved from Atlanta?
Houston.
Belnor, baby. Atlanta taught me that word. I didn't even know there was a term until I saw it for myself. That's crazy because I've never heard this term you guys are talking about.
What term are they keep mentioning again?
Referring to what is it called? Trade. That's the term. And you see, you learn something every day. Atlanta Metro is lovely. Most people live in metro area of Atlanta and not in the inner city Atlanta. Sandy Springs, Brookhaven, Johns Creek, beautiful, safe, not ratchet at all. I heard Tennessee's super racist nowadays, but not sure. I haven't been there in a while. Yep, ATL traffic is the worst. You think it's worse than Houston? Because Houston's traffic I hear is pretty bad too. Sounds like I would be at the spot in my house. Facts, signature call. What was facts? Sorry, we're a little late. So disappointing about the sprawl in Houston. I was in Houston for 3 days. I squeezed a lot in and got a feel for it, but I plan on going back in 2 weeks. I liked Rice Village and Montrose.
Oh, all right. I like Rice Village too. That's a cute little area. They have all like the cute little stores. Montrose. That's I read Montrose is cute. Like I said, it's artsy. You mentioned like in arts is a nice artsy area. Has a lot to do, a lot of popping restaurants. Like it gives you that like that center part, gives you like that city vibe. So yeah, Rice Village and Montrose are cool. Were you able to make it to River Oaks Haven?
Nashville has the best.
Area.
Sorry, Nashville has the best jobs in no H because downtown Nashville more for whites though, but still a lot of black things. Shout out to Jersey. Shade
Yeah.
is simply a gay guy that comes across as straight, but plot twist is not. So like from a distance, you would never know.
A lot. I'm telling. I'll give you another story. I was in Fenty Savage. I'm buying something, whatever, the Fenty store, and the manager, he was doing a lot. Like he was annoying me a little, but he was, whatever. So then all of a sudden, some guy walks in and starts flirting with him, and I was just like, this guy, I would have never imagined. Like he was very like he didn't, I would have never thought, but he literally walks in and starts flirting with him. And I'm just like, Lord, have like how, like it ain't safe. Like who?
Do they men of color?
Yes, both of them. Yeah.
Interesting. Tufia, can't do Jersey again. No, but oh, you came from Jersey, Salt Culture. I didn't know that. What part? And why in my 50s I could revisit. Regarding this trade situation, they can live their life without me in the mix. You don't meet a lot of different people in Jersey like down south. That's true. Everyone that's in Jersey usually is from there, but some people move to like the northern parts of Jersey near New York because New York at a point New York is very expensive. So you'll see a lot of people like in northern New Jersey. But you're right. It's you meet so many people from like living in Charlotte. It's like everyone top five is I would say top five in Charlotte, Cali,
Mhm.
Ohio, New York, New Jersey,
Mhm.
and so what would I say is five Charlotte people. What's the fifth place? I guess I'll say that's it. I don't
How
really
about other parts of North Carolina?
South Carolina, obviously South Carolina, because South Carolina technically is not North Carolina. South Carolina.
I would say for Houston, a lot of people move from Louisiana, California, New York. I think New Jersey as well,
Mhm.
and I think Chicago. I don't know. I'm just being random, but a lot of people from Louisiana. A lot.
Louisiana, interesting.
Is
So
right next
where are
door.
you in and why? I believe Southern Culture is in Charlotte, North Carolina with us, Haven. Oh, we're gonna disregard that. Dallas is more expensive than H Town, Atlanta, and Charlotte. Something
Yes,
to
I say that all the time. Dallas is expensive. Like people think Texas is no. It's like Austin. Austin is expensive. Like people think Texas, they think oh cheap. No, like it depends where in Texas. Austin, of course, is like number one, but Dallas is relatively expensive for Texas, for sure. Like it's not a cheap city at all.
Ngozi, can you try this Igbo?
Igbo ekele m unu na Nnamanu ya gazi.
I
Kedu super chat top clinical kedu a lot of
tried
TV.
Top Pinnacle. Angie has gotten expensive. Angie was always expensive. I was looking at places in Hoboken, 2,600 for one bedroom. Are there any affordable parts of New Jersey? Definitely.
South Jersey. You got to get away from North Jersey.
Central South Jersey, if you want
Central
more
South
affordable.
Jersey. Yeah, North Hoboken is basically New York.
Yeah.
Jersey City, all the places are gonna be expensive. North Jersey is expensive. You want more affordable Central, like New Brunswick, those places like Edison, or go more south.
Or
Like
I would say if you still want to be kind of in the north, try to focus on like Union County.
Union County is more affordable. Essex County is
County.
Essex County and Bergen County expensive.
Mhm.
Those two counties are very
I would
expensive.
try Union County if you still don't want to be too, because nothing is really in Central and South
Right.
Jersey.
I wouldn't live in Central Jersey. As
That's like really for families, Central and South Jersey.
right.
So, like if you're younger, I would suggest living in the northern part of New Jersey. But of course, it has to be the most. That's the most expensive part of New Jersey. Because I was in the north and I'm still complaining. So I can't even imagine what I'd be doing if I was in Central or South Jersey. I'm in
Right.
Charlotte now at Haven, Newark at Haven. Oh, okay. My ex is Igbo. It ended disastrously, but I can't get enough. My family is tired of me over this.
Girl, you better go to your Haitian man. Girl, I know. What did they say? You saw that thing on Instagram? How the American girl was like, "You need to make a reaction to that." Like she stopped dating. I started dating African man. I can't go back. She went viral. They posted it, and people were slamming her like, "Oh, good luck," blah blah blah. And she's like, "If they that bad, why y'all keep marrying them? Y'all don't divorce them." Like she was ripping, like low key ripping Nigerian women. It was so funny. But
So
yeah,
yeah, some of them are some of them were hating. Some
Mhm.
I'm in Charlotte as well, by way of Chicago, by way of Los Angeles. Oh wow, Chicago. Might move to Rice Village. Been researching. Nice. That's Houston, right? Rice
Nice.
Village. I would think Texas is cheaper, Georgia overall, since they pay no state income taxes.
Yeah, that definitely is a factor.
Hello, Nnena and Ngozi. Hi, Diane.
Uh,
I lived in New Jersey and NYC. So you lived in Newark, New Jersey, and NYC. Interesting. Wow. Mia, would y'all say overall, do the guys look better in Houston or Atlanta? I personally, despite all the trade talk and all the other stuff we've been talking about, I personally feel like I see more men when I go to Atlanta than when I'm in Houston.
yeah,
Me,
that's different. But are they straight? That's the conversation. But I think Atlanta has good looking men. Like I think the men are good looking. Like the men I was seeing. Like yeah, the issue is like that's part two. But I think the men are pretty good looking. Houston, the men are not bad. Are you talking about overall? Talk about black men. We have to specify. I'm assuming we're talking about black men. But yeah, I think they're pretty similar. Like they're good looking.
Salt and Culture Rice Village has a nice balance. If I move to Houston, it'll be Rice Village or Montrose. And VA, we want them to all move from Charlotte. We want them to all move from Charlotte. So many Nigerians in Houston. That city is dope. Oh, that's a good point about the taxes. Thank you for sharing these insights at Haven. Yes, thank you. No, no, top pinnacle,
No,
LOL.
no,
No.
no.
That's what she's saying. I was like, what is okay? Like, okay, I get what she's saying. Might as well move to Brooklyn at that price point. I will say the food in Houston was on point, much better than Charlotte. Very good
Where'd
food.
you eat, Haven? I know we're taking over. Where'd you eat? I tell you, the food in you, I'm still trying to lose the 15 pounds I've gained since I moved here last February. No, 10 pounds. I'm still, no, maybe about 15. I'm still trying to lose it. Like, it's crazy.
Dollar. Belnor, not the headache you want for life. Belnor's, I think she's laughing, told her to go back to her Haitian man. Salt and Culture, thank you. I'll check out Newark. Any neighborhoods in particular I should check out? Okay, the only thing about Newark, I'm going to be
They
honest,
gentrifying it
Newark
though.
is gentrifying, but most Newark is still known as a hood. New
Hmm.
Jersey. Like it's just now they put a Whole Foods up there. The train station is there. They're doing things to make it, more they're gentrifying, just like South End and all these places. But Newark is huge. You just have to be careful what part of Newark that you want to stay in because it's very bad parts of Newark that you wouldn't want to stay in. If you see a cheap price, most likely just think in your head is probably one of those.
Reason. That my I was talking to my colleague on over the weekend. He used to live in Jersey City. Now he's in Newark. He was saying how like white people, Indians are walking around Newark like it's nothing. Like they've gentrified like that downtown part. Like they're not scared. And it's crazy because Newark wasn't like that, but they're really trying to like build it up. And I hate that building it up always means gentrification. For the
Right.
most part, like why can't we build it up and still make it affordable for the citizens and then make other housing for people who want to spend more and let them live there? Like why does building up always have to be pushing out people? Like
Sorry, yeah, Nigerian men are frying pan, Haitian men are fire. You choose who you want to burn.
yeah,
LOL.
that's facts. Salt culture, that's facts.
The men in Texas are built different. Everybody fine from my experience. You have to be very strategic because Newark is just coming up. Exactly. That's the point we made. Like, please just be careful with Newark. Say that again, Miss Mermaid. We different. Dallas Dandy, are you Nigerian? Did y'all meet any potential mates in Atlanta when y'all visited, or have
Yeah,
you?
let me tell you,
We
love
love
stories.
the topic.
Let
Love
me
the
I need to tell my cousins the full story. So basically, we had went out. What was it? Saturday night. Me and my friend and her friend, whatever. It was so funny. Let's just preface story. Nigerian men are very toxic, and that's what I've learned. A lot of them are very toxic. So we're like, oh, let's go to the club, whatever. We end up going to the club, and some guy is like grabbing. Once we walk in, these guys start acting they're doing a lot. So this one guy grabs me into sexual whatever. He's like doing a lot or whatever, and I'm like, no, I'm good. Like we're good or whatever.
Nice.
So my other, so this other guy, it's two friends in one section, both trying to get my number, and I'm just like, this is weird, right? Yes. So then this other guy, so the other guy I was trying to talk to, I wasn't trying to talk to him either. He goes and tells my friend to tell me that that guy is married. That's trying to talk to me. So the guy comes up to me trying to talk to me again. I'm like, excuse me, I said something, so can we hang out tomorrow? Something. I said, I don't think your wife would like that. He was like, wife? I swear to God, I'm not married. So then later on, my friend now is saying that she's not sure whether the guy was telling that guy was not it.
You
So
could have been lying. You
thank
think?
you. So then after I go, the other guy pulls me or whatever. So he starts talking to me, whatever. We end up in the section, whatever. So then he's like, he starts kind of doing a lot. So he's like, you know what? I want to cause trouble tonight. I want these. I was like, don't get yourself in trouble, whatever. Like, don't get beat up because I don't want, how men be trying to do too much, whatever. So he's like doing a lot basically because he's trying to like intimidate the guy next to him, whatever.
His friend? His friend?
No, this is his other friend is still trying to his other friend is still being messy. So he was talking all this craziness, whatever, talking about he's gonna do this and that. My friend was like, he's lying, he don't have it like that because she knows him, whatever. So make a long story short. To make a long story short, the first guy goes up to my friend and was like, oh, talking about me, why is she talking to these other guys? Why is she talking? No, he said, why is she talking to everyone? So he's trying to be smart. Mind you, I don't know you. I don't owe you anything. So I guess he's in his feelings because this guy is like not like he's older, big stomach. Like he looks married. Like he wasn't it. So the other guy is actually younger, more attractive. You know what I mean? Like attractive. Like actually, like
The one
like
that said, "Why are you talking to everyone?" is attractive.
no, he's not. That's why I wasn't talking to him. So he goes up to my friend and is like, why is she talking to everyone? I was trying to talk to her first, and she's talking to this other guy. I'm like, it's too much to go into detail, but Mia, what I would say is that despite some people have this idea that quote unquote like the club is not really, and I see where they come from, right? Like a lot of people going to the club don't necessarily have the best intentions. Like my friend I was with, a guy was trying to talk to her, and she's engaged, she had her ring on, and she showed the guy the ring, and he didn't care.
But that has nothing to do with being in the club. I can meet a guy at the store and he doesn't care.
But of course, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like that's just to show you the level, like people really don't care. Like, how could you see a girl that's married and you still trying to talk to her? It's like that says a lot about you. So I understand when people have that idea, like the club, you can't really meet anybody. Like I said, if I go to the club here and there, it's just for fun. Like it's not going there trying to take it all serious and trying to meet, my husband or blah blah blah. But basically, Mia, just to add some little humor to this, like these men were acting very crazy. Like they were acting, and I think that's maybe Belle, nor you can kind of speak to this. Maybe that's why I feel like some women also are attractive. Maybe that could be one of the reasons why I feel like some women can be attracted to particularly African men, because I feel as if we've spoken about this before compared to like other groups of men. They're very aggressive. And for some women, it can even be off-putting because if you're not used to it, be like, why are you grabbing me? Why are you trying to do this? Almost like some people can almost classify it as assault, right? Like it's almost like, don't put your hands on me. You know what I mean? But as we're used to it, so we don't take it as that big of a deal. But like they were very aggressive.
They were grabbing you?
Grabbing, literally. Like it was a lot. So I can, but ATL's fun. ATL's fun. I didn't get ATL's a lot of fun. But let's go through these comments. Anyone want to call in? I'm about to share the link.
I want to hear from someone who's lived in Atlanta and Houston. Anyone in this chat that's lived in both Atlanta and Houston, I really, really want to hear from you. Anywhere Whole Foods is automatically increases real estate prices in that area. That's facts. Song culture. Haitian men make cheating their norm. Multiple outside children and whole family in whole multiple families. I can't. Wow. Miss Mermaid, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Might as well move to Brooklyn for that price point. Yeah.
But at the same time, we talk about price point, but we always say when we talk about stuff, we have to make sure we're comparing the same things. For example, if you take 2.6, even if you're in Jersey, you take that 2.6 in Hoboken, I'm sure your apartment is going to be bigger than an apartment in Brooklyn for 2.6. Because 2.6 in New York is it's literally a box. Like in Brooklyn, like it's literally gonna give you. I don't even know if you can get 500 square feet. So at the same time, there's a reason why people choose to be in New Jersey and still commute into New York. Because even if they can pay the same in New York, they're getting more for
Right,
their.
but the vibe of living in Brooklyn can't be comparable to the vibe of living
Because
in
like, what's
New York.
more important to you?
Exactly. It's the
It's a
same thing with
trade-off.
living in Charlotte.
It's a trade-off. The
I
same
could
way.
stay in Uptown and pay one price. I could go live far away, 30 minutes, and pay another price.
Even we talk about Montrose. Montrose is a very is a not it's a it's expensive area in Houston, probably top 5, right? And I understand some people are like, oh, I can't pay that. Why would I
Why
come?
don't you go live in Katy? Why
I
don't
am
you go
go
live?
live in Arcadia and drive 45 minutes. Some people that's not okay with that's
Yeah.
that's fine for them, but I don't want that. So I'll pay more to be in Montrose. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to consider what's more important to you. Same way people are like, oh, the amount you're paying in Houston, you might as well be up north. No, because even if I was up north paying the same amount of rent, I would not be living in this type of area. I would not be in a brand new apartment. I would be paying this rent. Yeah, I can pay the same rent in New Jersey for sure, but I won't get what I'm getting here. I won't have 900 square feet.
You won't be in the heat and you won't be in a vibrant city.
Right, I won't be in somewhere that's somewhat walkable. I won't. So it's like you just can't compare prices. A point I'm making. You have to compare what you're getting for that price because there's a difference.
I just visited a friend in Lodi. It was pretty nice there. Lodi is northern
I
Jersey, right?
one girl on AU team used to live there, basketball.
Again. Yes, at Dallas. I might give Texas a spin again.
Where's Miss Mermaid?
They have been trying to gentrify Newark for a long time. It's still the ghetto overall, lol. Mia Chica, you'll have more luck in Texas. Chimobi, I lived in Charlotte before moving to Atlanta. Oh, and I would say Atlanta's dope. Nigerian men are winning here. I can imagine.
Y'all be in the club, all the girls be run. I'm telling you, you go to it's just like the section is like most of these girls are not even Nigerian. Like the girls who let's be real. Like
did you ask them?
No, I know my girls what they look like, but people can look at me and say I don't look Nigerian.
Exactly.
But no, to the extent you can kind of tell, like a lot of these girls, like they on Nigerian men because you know they come in correct. You know what I mean? So I get it. You know, like it is.
Why he didn't put me in Atlanta. Let's just put that. How long Shimobi were you in Charlotte? Interested to know. Miss Mermaid says stress. Dallas Dandy. LOL. It's getting gentrified, so you must visit because one neighborhood will have a drug section and posh section all on 2 corners of the same block. It's a mixed bag. Try places around Rutgers University. LMAO, married men here and at home with whole families. Miss Mermaid, yup, might as well just admit they're polygamist. They are too possessive, not in a good way, in my opinion. Miss Mermaid coming for your Nigerian men, Ngozi. Like, too familiar, too fast. Boundaries? Yeah, not with them. These long stomach married men will fight every soul so hard to commit to you as if they don't have children, other girlfriends, and wives to take care of. Shaking my head. Long stomachs, I'm dying. LOL. I ate at Squabble. That's how you say Squabble in the Heights, Boss Cat Kitchen and Libations, and Gatlin's Fin and Feathers. I'm a foodie in Houston, did not disappoint.
Wow, I've been to Boss Cat. I like Boss Cat. I've been there once. I haven't been to the other ones. You didn't go to Lucille's. You didn't go to any of the black spots, Haven. Like, but
Hey,
hi, Abby. Rice Village is more my spec. Yeah, I love Rice Village where they have like that center where they have the Van Leeuwen. They have the Sweet Green, like that little like plaza. They have where's that pastry place? Like the yeah, it's not coming to my head, but I like Rice Village. It's by the medical center. It's pretty close to me. That area is a good area.
Again, anyone in this we've had about 50 people in here. Okay. Anyone here have, if you've lived in Houston and Atlanta, I really, really would like you to let us know and
come join and compare because we want someone who has lived. Like I'm saying, I'm judging off of being in Atlanta 5 times. I live in Houston now, but I've never lived in Atlanta. Nnena has been to Atlanta several times. She's driving distance from Charlotte, but she's never lived there. But for someone who has lived in both to give us the most accurate representation, how would you compare the both so we can really have, someone discuss this and make sure you guys like this video. A lot of y'all in here, y'all like this type of stuff. So make sure y'all like this video.
We're talking about mostly from here on. I love Nigerian men's overt masculinity and assertiveness. They value education, family, and tend to be more emotionally mature than a lot of other men. The cultural similarities make it a plus.
Similarities, no, Bella? You feel like there's similarities between Haitian and Nigerian? I don't really see it. I know Haitian people will say that, but I feel like I don't know. When you say similarities in terms of what? Because I feel like culturally we're very different. But
Mm.
maybe I'm just saying that because I'm Nigerian and I know how deep Nigerian culture gets, it's particularly like with different tribes and stuff.
I think a lot of people have some find similarities in other ethnic groups. Period.
Mm,
You know.
okay, I can see
Yeah,
that.
but I agree with the masculinity, and then this is a point is random, right? We're gonna go back to Atlanta versus Houston. I think this is the point when people say, "Oh, girls are like bad boys." I always tell people, "No, we don't like bad boys. Really, I don't like men who are bad. I don't like men that mistreat me. I think what people are trying to say, women like masculine men.
Mhm.
Most women like a man that can lead, who can take control, who can dominate." Again, Miss Merman, I get your point. Sometimes it could be overbearing. It shouldn't be overbearing to the
Would
point that
be like to the point it's like harassment.
don't control me physically, but you want a man that's like, like a leader. So I think that's what a lot of women.
And Belnor hit this education part. We have to be real. Like that's a big one because culture wise, for the most part, I've noticed. I think that's another fact that can attract a lot of women is that like education for Nigerian people overall is like kind of like a standard.
Mhm.
Like it's not like a. It's not like a. It's not really like an option, I would say. Like it's more of a standard for us compared to I've noticed for a lot of other cultures. Like I grew up with a lot of like Caribbean people. Like it's not I don't feel like it's as pushed as much on them. Like if they want this good, especially the men. Like the women try. Like that's one thing I would say. Like the women, they go to school, they get the degrees, but a lot of the men are not really like when it comes to school, it's not really their thing. So I
Okay,
could
I could get what you're saying. Top Pinnacle here is in the building. Nigerian man. Nigerian men are now a scarce commodity. South African, Kenyan, Ugandan, and all other African countries, women praising Nigerian men, all now in competition to steal Nigerian men away for themselves.
um
Right, and Belnor, and then they will gaslight you for finding out they're lying. I couldn't imagine. I like my life stress free. Noni said, "Have y'all touched on families moving to Houston?" No, not yet.
it's
That's
a good one because I honestly think even um when you talk about Houston, I feel like Houston is also different in the sense that it's a great place for singles, but also for families. Of course, families are not necessarily going to move to Houston proper because just the way it's set up, it's not a lot of houses. It can be expensive. Some of the houses are like in the hood parts of Houston. So, like I mentioned, when most people say Houston, they're referring to the suburbs as well.
mhm.
So when you compare like housing cost and like schools and stuff like in the suburbs,
Taxes.
yeah, like property taxes are still quote unquote high for people here compared to like cost of living. But for us coming from up north, it's still very affordable, right? Like you can still get build like a freaking like brand new house, 4 bedroom, 3 bath in the suburbs for like 400K, even below, like even still in the 300Ks. You know what I mean? So like a lot of places can't really brag on that. So like that's a big thing. That's the thing. There's a lot of space down here.
But there's suburbs of Atlanta too. Are you saying that you believe that suburbs of Atlanta housing costs more than the suburbs of Houston?
I think so. I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think like suburbs of, and like I said, it's also a land thing, right? Like Houston is suburb. It's so big, so there's a lot of space. You know, space usually is what pushes the supply and demand part. So, a lot of families do move to Houston. Like I said, they don't move to Houston per se. They move to the Houston suburbs because of what is it, Houston school district, whatever they call it. I always watching the news. There's some issue or the other. Some of the schools are not really that good in Houston, and then this, like I said, it costs and stuff and space. There's not as much space, of course, as if you're going like to the suburbs. So I think Houston suburbs are still a attractive, and a lot of, I know people from New Jersey that moved their whole family here.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. True. 2600 in Brooklyn is a closet.
And,
Okay. Chimobi said, I lived in Charlotte for 4 years before moving to the A. 4 years, a good amount of time. LMAO, the stomach has me in tears. I can't type. His song coach said, yes, so the stomach will announce them before you meet their audacity and then their face. At Chimobi, how long have you been in Atlanta and do you like it better than Charlotte? Okay, Shirley said, okay, so we don't know how long she's been in Atlanta. I've only visited Texas for work, and that was before the pandemic. Oh, that's a long time ago. Lived in Atlanta for 10 years, but moved to Houston 2 years ago. Moving back to Atlanta, Decatur, when
so
my
why do you want to join? Let us know. Or if you don't want to join and say you're shy, I don't think we've met you before. Let us know in the comments why. Why are you leaving Houston to go back to Atlanta?
Shimobi, where did you move to Charlotte from? She moved to Charlotte from. Okay, she moved to. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Where did she move to Charlotte from, and would you stay in Atlanta long term? Living in Houston is one thing, but anyone considering buying, because the flooding tendencies makes purchasing there a no-no for me. Really, don't you just get flood insurance? Salt
Mm.
and culture. I checked the flood zones. You can definitely purchase outside of flood zones. I'm looking for a townhouse, but planning to rent for a year first. I'm Kenyan, married to a Nigerian American, and we have a lot in common. Okay, nice. Rice Village reminded me of LA, which I've lived most of my adult life, born and raised in Chicago. I was excited there was a Van Leeuwen, my favorite ice cream spot.
Yes, Van Leeuwen is my spot. The vegan ice cream, so good. Like I love Van Leeuwen.
Ms. Murmur said, I think I see the characteristics separately. For me, the toxic cultural side is a no go for me, but I also take each man on an individual basis, right? Noni, are you also first gen? Haven, that's smart. Noni, I'm trying to relocate to Africa, Kenya to be specific. Dallas, Dandy, where do you live? Miss Mermaid, no, I was raised in Nairobi and came here for college. A Houston home, I would feel weird living in such a big house by myself. Have one eye open at night. LOL. I'm sure you can get like a
And
townhome
that's
or
what I say
condo.
all the time, specifically because, like we said, a lot of people buy in Houston, they buy in the suburbs. Like when they're saying they're buying a house, they're buying in the suburbs, even just to live. I cannot live in the suburbs. Like I couldn't. Like it's just too It's too suburban.
Isolate. It's too
It's too
isolated.
isolated. It's too Houston is too big. Nana always complains Houston's so big, so big. Yeah, so that's why where you live is very important. Yeah, people have things that are more important to them. People are looking at cost. People are looking at safety. I get it. You know, everyone's has to be real with their budget. The first year I moved here, I had to live somewhere I was really crazy about because of budget. I had a lot of expenses. It was my first time living alone. I couldn't just jump and live where I really wanted to live. But in terms of buying, you could get like there's condos and stuff like that, 2 bedroom, even 1 bedroom. The issue, like I say, Houston is not that it's not as cheap as people think. When a lot of people talk about buying houses, they're buying in the suburbs. That's where it's more affordable. That's where there's more land, but it's too suburban. Like it's way too suburban. Richmond, Sugarland, I cannot live there by myself. There's no way. There's no way. Mm-mm. I
Oh,
wouldn't do it.
okay, cool. That's awesome, Noni. Dallas Dandy, if you don't have family or friends there to help you, then don't move. Oh, talking about moving to Kenya. Some similarities value education, communal. Haitians believe in resource sharing amongst extended family and adopted family. I can see that. We live at home until we marry mostly. We aren't really treated like adults until we marry and have children. Okay, I can see that. Haven said, I've been in Atlanta for 3 years now and I def like it better. I live in between Midtown and Buckhead, the best location in my opinion. Okay, Atlanta. Okay. Atlanta is more gay friendly, but homes in Brookhaven average 800K. It's crazy and unjustified to me. 800K. Jamobi, do you feel safe there? My friends all have been victims of car break ins, which kind of scare me away from considering Atlanta. Really? The car breaking, I think, is big in Houston too, right? People stealing tires. That's the first time I heard about it. Is in Houston. People stealing tires. Igbo Nigerian men are traditionally masculine, resilient, and hardworking men. They are logical and thinking, stoic, and don't show emotions. That's not a good thing. They are good leaders and know how to treat women right. Okay, ready to ready for a house, no more apartments. I love the outdoors and being in Georgia. I'm closer to the Tennessee mountains, Florida, and the East Coast. That's true. Texas is so far from everything. Well, from the East Coast. I miss hiking in rainstorms without the power going out.
Yeah, hiking. We're pretty flat. I'm trying to hike by the end of the year here. We have a few trails, but the terrain here, yeah, it's pretty flat here. I won't lie.
Oh, nice. I moved to Charlotte from Columbia, South Carolina for college. Okay, so that was, I'm sure Charlotte was better than Columbia, South Carolina as far as things to do. At least from Columbia, South Carolina, I've been there. It was not much going on. And I can see myself living in the outskirts of Atlanta, though, because properties are cheaper outside of Atlanta, of course. Dec- Decatur is super safe. I love the neighborhood as well, just outside of the inner Atlanta, but super close to access easily. Mia said, Top Pinnacle, what would you say is the difference between Nigerian men and African American men? Oh, you're going to get Top Pinnacle started, Mia. I don't think you're ready because we've been in
Uh,
15 minutes, but you're going to get Top Pinnacle started. The property taxes make up for no income tax.
but
Mm,
people say that, but it's still a gain because if you're in New Jersey, you're still going to pay property tax and you're still going to pay income tax. So
true.
even if you end up paying property taxes that are higher compared to what people expect, you're still not, it's to me, I don't see it as an L because most states you're still going to pay both, right?
Okay. Not sure to join the
Click
chat.
the link. I'm sharing the link, the StreamYard link. Click it, and you'll open in Safari, and it'll let you join, so you can share briefly your experiences before we end.
Chimobi for sure, especially if you have a strong friend slash support system there, it'll be worth staying and putting down roots. But what are the people like in Houston? Is the African or Black community welcome? Haven said yes. Shimobu said, at Haven, yes, I do. I have been lucky not to have my car broken into. I stay in Brookwood. It's a hidden gem in the A. Jared said, gotta catch the playback, lol. But yes, Atlanta's ratchet for what I see on pictures. Everything is trap this, trap that, lol. Breaking into cars, I'll pass. That's not all of Atlanta. I feel like
They're
that's
everywhere.
that's a shame. Yeah. At this point in Houston, I don't know how to meet people other than the restaurant slash club, lounge slash club. It's annoying, really. So like, you guys don't have like mixers or
When I think about like some of my closest friends I've had in Houston, I met them like at mixers. So I think it's really in. I think that it's a challenge moving anywhere. To be honest, is forming community, and what I think has really helped me is really joining. Like we talk about like stuff that you're going to meet people recurringly, right? Like some type of group where you guys meet up every month, like stuff that you're meeting people. Is it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? Because it's hard when you like leave somewhere, you're moving somewhere new, you're literally starting from. I said I can't do this again. I'll be honest, I can't. I will not do this again. I think like I can't. Like it's not easy, and I respect people who are like, I may want to change, but I'm not ready for it. I'm going to stay in my hometown for the rest of my life. I don't think it's being small-minded. I don't think it's. I think it's them being real. Like it's not easy to start over, especially where you're comfortable where you are. Like everything
exactly.
there. Like we said, we left New Jersey. The social scene was whack. Everyone I was close to was leaving, or I fallen out with them. It's cold. I didn't want to live at home anymore. Like there was so many reasons. It wasn't just one thing, right? But if I lived there and like I was having a pop in, I would stay. You know what I mean? I would just get my apartment and put the heat up to 75 or whatever. I would get over it, right? But
Especially working remote, you don't really got to go out like
I
that.
gotta go outside. I do miss the season, so that's one thing I can say about being up north. I don't necessarily miss snow, but I do miss like the seasons changing. Like
Well, seasons change in Charlotte if you want to consider a change. The seasons change here. Houston is no better, but I'd rather have a car with no wheels than my entire car gone. LOL, nah, love y'all.
and
I'm,
I
I'm thinking Atlanta might be the same without the two grace wait at restaurants.
Effie, I told you about Lid. Okay, so we went. I was like, I gotta go to this restaurant. This girl I watch on YouTube always goes there. It's Toast on Lennox. So it was literally 4 minutes. The Buckhead location was 4 minutes from the hotel I was staying at. So I kept calling them. They weren't picking up. So my cousin picked me up and okay, let's go. Let's check it out. We go there and there's a line out. It's 3 p.m. So we're thinking we had a reservation somewhere else at 2:30, but we're running late. I'm like, let's just go to where I really want to go anywhere. Anyway, so there's a line coming out of there. My cousin's like, I've never seen a line come out of here. And it's Sunday, so I'm thinking, it's 3 p.m. Usually brunch is really hot, like 11, 12, 1, 2. So I'm thinking by 3 p.m. it's going to die down.
Normal places, because that's when
Right.
me and Christina went to brunch this Sunday, and like, everywhere was closed because I went to 1 o'clock church. So it was only a couple places that opened till 4 that we can go to because it was like 3 by the time we got there. So I get what you're saying. Usually, if you go like at 3, places that
Like
close.
people at 8 a.m., it's not going to be a line. 9 people are not there yet. Same way if you go really late or really early. Line was out. I asked them, well, how long is the wait? They said, at least an hour and a half. And our kitchen closes at 4:30. So I'm like, yo, what's going on? So my cousin's like, let's go to the Midtown location. She's never been there. So we go to the Midtown location. I walk in, and they're like, oh, same thing, about an hour and a half. So like, oh, what are we gonna do? We try to go to this other restaurant next to it. It was closed. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just walk by and just ask again. So we went and asked, and she's like, oh, the bar is opening up. When that person leaves, y'all could take the seat. We literally waited like for 2-3 minutes and just went to the bar. So I'm like, thank goodness it was the Midtown location. We're able to, that food. I had to have peppermint tea at nighttime. That food was hitting, like it was so good. So I definitely understand what you're saying. This kind of reminds me of Houston, but I feel like Houston is not as bad.
Shows you the food is good because Charlotte, I don't see waits like
Like
that. Really.
people were waiting, like legit, like it was nothing. Like, yeah, we about to wait, and we've talked about this. Evie's like when it comes to a certain point, like waiting. I don't really believe in waiting to eat, especially not no hour, anything over maybe 30 minutes. At that point, you can legit make the food. If you're really thinking about the time you're gonna sit
But
there,
you're assuming that someone has the ingredients in there. What if someone's
hour,
first?
an hour and a half to eat food that you're paying for. I don't have that type of patience. I don't have it, but like people just like that it is what it is. Like you
Stay
know,
on Sunday.
I tried to make a reservation Friday, but there was nothing available for Sunday. Like these things get booked really early, so definitely it's a thing there. Thank you for bringing up the crime in ATL Haven. The crime politics pew pew laws worry me for both Texas and Atlanta. It'd be a lot of perping. It'd be a lot perping in ATL guys wise. Act like they got it like that, but be having roommates. Eventbrite, you can meet people. So I'm from Chicago, and robberies and property crime are twice as high in Atlanta than Chicago. It took me out when I read those statistics. Top pinnacle. Oh God. Um, Mia, this is a response to Mia, top pinnacle. African American men aren't masculine enough. They show emotions and crying oftentimes like children, while life trials smack them on their face. They are totally opposite of African men. But being vulnerable is not a bad thing, top pinnacle. That's something African men need to
So
learn.
you listed that as a positive quality. That's not a positive trait.
Some African men need to learn vulnerability because there's a lot of strength in being vulnerable. There's a lot there. I find it impossible to connect with people in Charlotte. Happy to leave next year. Also, song culture is in Charlotte.
Mhm.
Brother got to have a roof over his head. Spicy. It's so easy to meet people in Charlotte. Oh my god, that's alarming. Rate Haven. Please don't be mad, but I've been wanting to ask because I want to buy one. Where did you get the curly wig from? It's so beautiful. Please tell me.
Oh, thank you. I got it from this. She's based in North Carolina. I can send you her Instagram. She doesn't have a store or anything. Everything has to be done via Instagram.
Did you talk about ATL baller lifestyle versus Houston baller lifestyle? We kind of touched this even talk about earlier when we had talked about there's this meme on not a meme, there's a video on Instagram where that went viral about a girl. She was at a club in Atlanta, Red Room, and she asked some guy was like she met a guy, he's like, what do I need? Something to take me seriously. And she said, send me 5K. And she showed her the Apple Pay. The guy sent her 5K. So I sent to my other friend. I was like, yo, we're gonna try this at O2 this weekend. So then she was like, nah, we not it's not like that. So I definitely do believe because people keep talking about scamming. I do think like that baller lifestyle is a bit bigger in ATL. Like I can see it. Like I could definitely see where people are coming from with that analogy because I feel as if it's in Houston, yeah, but I do think in Atlanta it's on a higher level, and maybe people really just have it like that as well. I don't think it's fair to assume that everyone is scamming, but I do think it's a bit more in Atlanta. How did you guys meet people? Are there? Did you keep in touch after you moved back home? But don't prep. Act like you have a lot of money, but live with other than a man and way of over the age for roommate thing. So we have someone in the studio. I don't know if you do, Chico. Do you want to keep your face on? You can turn off your screen if you want to, but I'm gonna have you join. I'm gonna add you to the stage soon so you can talk about your experience living in Atlanta for 10 years, Houston for 2 years, and moving back. You considering moving back? Okay, I'm about to add you to the stage.
Hey,
Hi.
hey, how y'all doing?
Doing well. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm doing good. Man, it's crazy that I was just wrapping up work and I went on YouTube because I've been following they're like real estate agents, and so they do different videos on where like locations to buy homes. And then I seen a Houston versus Atlanta live, and I was like, "Oh, let me hop in there because that's
Oh,
kind of
thank
like
you.
what like literally like what I'm experiencing now." So I moved to Atlanta from Chicago in 2011.
Okay.
So I was in Atlanta for a little bit over 10 years. I moved to Houston. And then when I moved to Atlanta, when you move to Atlanta, you got to move to the Buckheads and the Sandy Springs. And that's where I was. I was working at Perimeter Mall at Nordstrom. So I lived right off Roswell Road. Then I moved to Atlantic Station. And then I started noticing like the further you go out, the further your money goes. So then I ended up in Stone Mountain, and then I moved here from Decatur. So I moved to Houston April of 2022. So it hasn't even been 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You
so
moved after me. I moved February 2022, so you moved a little after.
February. Yeah. So I mean, Houston's cool. Don't get me wrong. I love Houston. I love Atlanta. As you mean, you probably can tell. I'm a part of the LGBT community, so Atlanta, just right off the bat, is
We
more.
talked about that earlier in the live, and it's not like anything disrespectful or anything, but we can see why, like, certain people that would gravitate more to them. Like, it's more,
Mhm.
it more,
That community.
yeah, that community is stronger.
Yeah,
It's more
it's more community, and like it's not even about like dating, because dating is trash like everywhere you go. It doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter your gender, your sexual, it none of that matters. It's just hard for everybody. So people think, oh, because you're in LGBT, you want to go there, or you want to move back to Atlanta to date. It's just more gay friendly. And I'm not saying that you experience like that. I've experienced any like negative things like in Houston, but it's not Atlanta. Like it's just, that's all I can say. Like it's not Atlanta. And when you are of the culture and then you are of the LGBT community, like I mean, you just kind of get used to it. So from 11 and a half years being in the culture, being around people, just being comfortable walking into establishments. And again, I'm not saying that that doesn't happen in Houston, but it's just, I'm going to see transgender people. I'm used to it. Different bars and restaurants have gender neutral bathrooms. And then for me, I might not always want to use the women's bathroom. That doesn't negate that I'm a woman or anything like that. It's just that there are places in Atlanta, or more places in Atlanta, that allow me to feel comfortable. So that is one reason that's kind of high on my list. As far as like me just being comfortable in a space where anything can happen anywhere. There are people in Houston, there are people on the East Coast, West Coast that don't associate with gay people or the lifestyle. That's just is what it is. But Atlanta is that safe space for a lot of us. So that's first and foremost on my list. Second will have to be I had put in the chat for I'm an outdoorsy person, and Houston is so flat. Like there's,
I said that it's flat. There's not a lot of hiking trails, and then talk about the weather. Also, it's so hot over the summer, so you can't even do anything up to like
yeah,
now. You know what I mean? Now is when you
like
can really say you're going out and like being outdoors. Like it was so hot this summer. Like it was crazy hot this summer. There's not a lot of
this
beaches.
summer, I was inside majority of the summer. And it's just like, in Atlanta, the weather right now, 60s, you'll get into the 70s, but it's not as hot. It does get hot in the summer, but being from the Midwest, I appreciate my four seasons. Maybe not the snow,
Right.
but then like my fall attire, I love putting on a hoodie and boots and stuff like that. And then when it rains, I appreciate a good snow, a good rainstorm without the power going out. So right now, I'm in a very just grateful and like I'm just in a good place right now where I work remote. So prior to the pandemic, I was already working remote 2 days out of the week. Once the pandemic hit, I was able to move to a full time remote work. So being in the inside the perimeter or outside the perimeter, or as they say in Atlanta or in Houston,
The loop.
whatever 610, the loop,
Mhm.
I don't mind being in the suburb or being, in the city. But I do think that, and this is just my opinion, I do think that Atlanta is geared more towards younger individuals. Both have Atlanta, of course, is lifestyle. It's the nightlife, it's the being seen. You got people wanting to be in movies and choreograph and like, do all of that. So you do get more of that in Atlanta. You have a better opportunity of getting put on, so to say, or just making those connections. If you're in music or TV, film, you have a better opportunity of doing that if you are in Atlanta versus being in Houston. I do think that Houston is a more family friendly city. Even though it's a city full of, not full of singles, but there's a lot of singles in Houston as well. I do think that Houston is more family. Atlanta, you got to be a little bit, not cautious. If you move to the suburbs, like if you move, and this is just off topic, but on topic, but if you move to like the northern parts of Atlanta, because we got to break it down as far as like Atlanta is still segregated when you think about it. And again, this is just my personal opinion. Atlanta is segregated because you have more of your Easterners or foreigner people that live in the Sandy Springs, Roswell area. And then you have like your more African American people that are on the east, or, like East Atlanta, your Decatur's, your Stone Mountains, your Lathonias. And then on the south side too, when you get to your Forest Parks and your Jonesboroughs, you'll have more of us, and then everybody else is kind of just sprinkled in there. But then if you move up north to your Cobb counties, you're going to have more family friendly places. But Atlanta itself, inside the perimeter, your downtown areas, living in the Lenox and the Buckheads, and like just those concentrated areas, you're going to see more younger people because it's the schools are there. You got what's the art school there? You got Morris Brown, your Clark Atlanta's in the city. You're going to just experience more natural people. I mean, younger people naturally. So that's just kind of like my opinion. So I know I'm rambling a little bit, but just right now, the place where I'm at, the determining factor to if I move back to Atlanta or do I want to stay in Houston, a huge part of that is just based off of I'm about to be 40 years old and I want to buy a home. Like I'm in the process of purchasing or looking for a home, not an apartment, not a condo or anything like that. I'm big on energy. So for me, any of my four walls to be connected to someone else, it just doesn't,
Tired
it
of that.
doesn't suffice me right now with my current lifestyle. So I want space. I want to be able to spread out and just have that. I don't mind mowing grass. I want a yard. I want to be able to plant flowers, maybe have a little garden, not a porch garden, not something that's hanging over my balcony. No, I want a designated space to be able to do those things. And that's just where I'm at in my life. And I feel like for what I can afford with my salary, Atlanta's going to be able to give me that, but I'm not going to be in the city. I'm looking in more of the suburbs, East Atlanta, so your Decatur's, Lithonia. I'm even looking into Snellville, and as far as going up to Lawrenceville, the price gets a little bit, more into your upper 300s or 400s going into the Lawrenceville, Snellville area. But I need that space. I need that space to be able to, if I want to beat on my bongos, or make a little bit of noise, I'm not bothering anybody because I'm in an apartment or a condo. And so that's just where I'm at right now. So when I look at even renting right now, so paying 1,400 for a 2 bedroom, 1.5 bath townhouse, I can actually rent a 3 bedroom, 2 bath home, like an actual house
Mhm.
in Atlanta.
With
So
that
that's just,
same price?
say that again.
For the same price, you're saying? For
Yeah,
14?
but not in the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, the
So you're
suburb.
going
Okay.
to be in your suburbs, and that's going to go into like your Dorovilles when you go up to like the Norcross area. It's a little bit north.
Go
It's
across.
going to take you about 20-25 minutes to get to the city, but that's what you get for your money. So right now in Houston, I'm in the Garden Oaks area. I'm like 10 to 15 minutes from the Heights, which is not bad. It's not like super nice, but it's not a bad area either. It's just congested. And
Mhm.
like that's just my thing for me, like living inside of any city. And I think it goes just back to age and like what you're looking
What you're
for.
looking
If you
for, right?
want to be able to walk to your corner stores and walk to the shops and little places like that, yeah, you want to live in the city and you get what you pay for. But I'm at a different point in my life where, like I said, I just want that extra space. I want to be able to park my car in my garage and just feel safe. My car did get broken into. I seen somebody put that in a chat.
They take your
um,
tires or they just broke into the car?
no, they broke in my side window, but there was nothing in there. Like they couldn't take anything. But those are things that you have to when you move to any city. It doesn't matter if it's Houston or Atlanta. You just have to. That's just what comes along with the city. When you have nice things, that's what
Right.
happens. You know what I mean? It's not anybody. It's not anybody's fault. It's not my fault. I mean, it is their fault.
Mhm.
But you have to think about stuff like that. So when you are in a city and you have nice possessions, there are people that don't have things and they're going to want to take those from you. So, do you want to live in a congested area where you're parking next to whoever? You know what I mean? Like you're parking that you don't have eyes on your things. You don't have eyes on your home unless you have like a Ring camera or something like that. It's just things to think about at your stage in life that you're in. So if you want to experience the nightlife and you don't care if you don't have a vehicle and you want to walk, yeah, move to a downtown area.
Right.
Move to an area that's
Trade-off.
yeah, a little bit more concentrated. You can hop on the train. You can, take, Ubers and Lyfts and all of that. But if you're a little bit older and you want a little bit more peace and privacy and, garages and things like that, the suburbs in any city, I think would be nice. Even looking here, some of the homes in Humble,
Oh,
and Katie's nice too. I really like Katie. I can't afford Katie. So, you know what I mean? But then I think you had mentioned it earlier. The
mhm.
further you go out, if you do a lot of activities inside the city, or if you work in like the medical district, that is a long drive. You know what
Right.
I mean? To be able to, that's like a 35, 45 minute, and depending on how traffic, and we know accidents can happen at any
Houston
time,
traffic is bad.
you looking at an hour to hour and a half commute either way to get where you want to go. So I just say like to anybody that's looking to move. And I can't see comments if anybody had any questions for me, just comparing the two. 2 years in Houston, about 11, go on, yeah, a little over 11 in Atlanta. If they had any questions that they wanted to ask, I'm definitely open to answering any type of questions because I'm just rambling right now.
Okay, so yes, guest vibes. Let's see if anyone has any questions.
But thanks so much, Chico. This is really helpful. You're in a Houston zip code, correct? So you actually are in
Yes.
Houston. Okay.
I'm in 77092 is
Okay.
so yeah, when I first moved here, I was in the Galleria area. I really like the area, but again, high concentration. I felt like it was like a college, like my apartments, it was all young people. I mean, partying, and it's nothing wrong with that if you want that.
Right.
But it was like with me just getting down here, it was like, yeah, like let's do this. I was able to walk to like, some of the nice the clubs that people go to. So I was able to walk to camp,
Oh,
Prospect
okay.
Park. I was right there
Okay.
by Nomad. Like I literally like I just
They're
left
all
my
next to
house
each
there. I
other.
was able to walk. Yeah, but you can just get to a point in your life again when you
That's
turn
not what
40.
you're worried about. You're not worried about Prospect Park and Nomad and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Haven said Lawrenceville is much more affordable, but 45 minutes from the city. I've been
Yeah.
looking at for homes in Atlanta, Brookhaven, Johns Creek are expensive, but I found affordable homes in Decatur and Douglasville.
Yeah, those, so you hit the nail on the head right there. Those Brookhaven, Johns Creek area, beautiful, clean. You don't have to worry about, in my opinion, the theft and like guarding yourself as much. You do get a more mixture of other cultures. And I'm just being honest. In the northern areas, you will have Asian and Hispanic neighbors that are, IT engineers and stuff like that. You'll get those moving into those areas. But the Decatur and Douglasville area, it's going to be a mixture, and it's going to be a little bit more affordable in my opinion. So if you're buying something in the Decatur Doraville area, and you can go on to your I'm on Redfin right now. I've been looking at Redfin, and I don't think I have it pulled up. Trulia, it's two of the sites that I've been looking in to purchase. You can purchase something, depending on what you want, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, mid 250 to upper 250 in the Decatur Douglasville.
That's very good for a
Mhm.
single person. I feel like I mean, it obviously depends on your salary, but I just think of 200s being a good range for like a
Yeah,
single person by yourself. Like paying all those bills by yourself. I would think like 200s is where
200
people would want to be in.
200 is a good starting point, but then like if just keep in mind the further out you go, and this is just, me from an Atlanta perspective, right? So the further out you go east, so you have your Decaturs, your Stone Mountains, your Lathonias, even going into Conyers and Covington, those aren't bad areas. They're really nice areas. It's like I say it's old black money. So it's really like older people, like older black people that are established. They own their homes, they have land. Like those are the areas where you're not going to get a lot of younger people. But if you just want to settle down a little bit, and you can get something for 300, you can get something for 325. It might be a little fixer upper. You might have to put in, but then your equity of your home goes up if you put in a little bit more work. So it's all about where you're at in life and what you want to do. If you want something more turnkey where you don't have to put a lot of work in, you're going to be about 350 to 400 to get something you don't have to do anything to. Again, it just depends on how much work you want to put in, how much you want to invest in. Where is Haven at? Is she in Atlanta or is she in
Charlotte.
Houston?
She's in Charlotte, North
She
Carolina.
just moved to Charlotte.
Oh, okay, got you, got you. Charlotte's nice though.
Yeah, I'm in Charlotte. I love Charlotte. Jared says, seems like everybody is an influencer in Atlanta. Like it would be hard to connect with people on a deeper level. Everything is surface level. Y'all let me know.
Do y'all want to answer that question? Because I could go on and on about that.
I've never lived in Atlanta, so I really wouldn't know. But I can get what he's saying.
It's a lifestyle. It seems like there's a certain lifestyle that some people may be trying to keep up with because of the
Mhm.
entertainment and because there's so many things there and because there's a lot of money in Atlanta,
Yeah.
for the most part. So I can see where this comment is coming from.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Jared 100%. I think Atlanta is just like the name Atlanta. It's like, oh, I live there or I work on this and I do this. My personal experience with Atlanta, I'm not gonna go too much into it. I did do background and stage setup for a couple of the reality shows, and the things that I seen, you have to be very, very strong minded. So you have to know who you are and you have to be able to say no. It is very easily influenced. You can be easily influenced living in Atlanta if you don't know yourself. So you do have to have stern boundaries. You do have to just say no, like I'm not interested in that, or that's not something that I partake in, because you're gonna see everything. And as far as like a lot of influencers, I see a lot of YouTube influencers, Atlanta this, Atlanta that, Atlanta this, and it's smoke and mirrors. Like I tell that to anybody that I come in contact with, especially like the younger generation. So I hate to sound like I'm old, but I'm gonna say anybody like under the age of 25. It's so easy to get caught up in that. Oh, I'm gonna go to Atlanta. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do this. Atlanta, you have to have a side hustle for your side hustle for your side hustle. So you have to have, you can have your regular 9 to 5, but in order to make it and be able to maintain it, I'm a single individual, right? And I do work for a corporate company, but I still have a side hustle and looking for another one on top of that, with the intent that you never know what's going to happen. And then it's Atlanta, right? So, you want your hair done, you want to have the nicest car, you want to live in a nice neighborhood. And that's just me as a person. That's not because I want to compare myself to anybody, but it is a lifestyle. So going just back to Jared's comment, it is a lot of influencers, but there are also a lot of people there that are easily influenced to allow those influencers to influence them. But if you go with the mindset that you're going to just be who you are and not be influenced, you can make it there. But you have to have, and being a part of the LGBT community, people don't necessarily agree with it. You do have to have some type of spirit. I'm not going to say religious, but you have to have some type of spiritual upbringing to hold yourself accountable, because it's easy to get caught up in the nightlife. It's easy to get caught up in just being out and being seen, and
Being outside.
yeah, just influence. It's just very easy. Yeah, Atlanta has a lot of fake people, fake famous
Fake
people.
famous people or people that claim to know people.
Yeah, and you got the bandwagon people. It's hard to go to Atlanta and just like do your own thing sometimes. Like sometimes people, because you have to think about it like this. It's like if you can't beat them, join them. So
Right.
the people in Atlanta, they're established. And you just think about, like the people on your TV shows, your Love and Hip Hops and, your Housewives and like all that. Those people don't care what you got or what you bring into the table. They have their friends. They're from Atlanta. If you think about a lot of artists that have been in Atlanta or grew up in Atlanta, they're established already. So they have their friend set. They're set friends. But when you come there like, oh, hey, listen to my music or I want to be on your show, they looking at you like, who are you? You know what I mean? But then you really have to, it's like I said, it's kind of like that. If you can't beat them, join them. So you have a lot of people that will fake pretend like they have the fake jewelry, or oh, I know this person, or I'm friends with such and such, and they're not really friends with them. It's just the image that they have to portray so that they can get in just certain groups. And Atlanta's very cliquey. That's just a given. I feel like anybody that has lived there longer than 2 years, I'm going to say anybody that has lived in Atlanta prior to 2015 can attest to that. The new people that's moving to Atlanta, they're either one trying to be one of those influencers, or they're just the people that's just like, yo, hey, I live here and it is what it is. I know a lot of older people, and when I say older people, I'm going to say 35 and older. They live in Atlanta or in the suburbs of Atlanta because Atlanta is a hub for tech, depending on what kind of company you work for, airlines, Coca-Cola. I know a lot of people that work in those industries, but if it wasn't for work, I don't think that they would live in Atlanta. So they're not as easily influenced in the nightlife perspective. They're kind of like, shopping, doing a little here and there. They don't really care about nightlife. It's more like, oh, I'm going hiking on the weekends. We might do a little bit of brunch. Otherwise, I'm chilling at the
Right,
house.
it's about what you want. This conversation has been extremely helpful. From the information you guys have provided, it gives me something to think about. Now I'm leaning away from Houston and towards Atlanta. Okay.
No, thanks so much, Chico, for your time. We're getting ready to round up, but thanks
Okay,
for
yeah, for
joining.
sure.
Make sure you watch, you subscribe, and we have a Houston playlist. So if you can just check out some of those videos, just so you can see some of our content about Houston, that would be helpful. But thank you so much for your
Yeah,
time.
thanks for having me. Y'all have a good one.
You
Problem.
too.
Good
Bye.
night.
All
Okay.
right, this was
But
great. We
yes,
got to talk to.
Atlanta is a lot of pressure when you step out. You got to be on point head to toe. Is Houston like that too? No, Houston is slow compared to Atlanta. Houston
Nah,
is
don't
really
say that.
aggressive.
I don't think that's not
Well,
true.
thank you, Haven, for the
We
super
have to go through
chat.
the comments real quick, y'all. I gotta get dinner. I gotta make dinner. I'm getting hungry, but let me see
I
what we.
went through most of them. Chimobi said, Haven, check out Doraville and Smyrna. Petra had mentioned Smyrna earlier as well. Most of it I went through. Evie, I want to talk about this. The family friendly description makes sense for Houston. No wonder why married men are acting like single men.
Um,
Okay, there's a lot of
People
comments.
were talking about meetup. Look, okay, let me go back a bit. This is a walk of this. Okay, I meet people at a club, bar, on the Meetup app. She said, I live in Charlotte, but consider moving to Houston or Atlanta. What type of people you're trying to meet? A lot of people, yeah, Meetup. Meetup is a good app. I have that. Butterfly Dream said, would you guys ever move back to Jersey? We mentioned that earlier. I will move back to Jersey, but I would need to be married.
Mm.
That's what I personally feel like. I could live in New Jersey. My family's from there. I grew up there. We don't pump gas. We don't pay tax on clothes. We have good food. 4 seasons. I don't like the snow, but I have money. I'll have money by then, so I could put on my my heat as high as I want.
Butterfly Dreams, you asked about the hair. You're not going to be able to see this too far away, but this is her Instagram if you want to get it. JADORENEMEA. I was trying to type it in the chat. I guess I could type it in the chat, plug her in, let
Yeah,
me.
let her know that I sent you, so she can get that next week some discount off. But yeah, I would move back to Jersey, but no time. I don't see myself moving back unless it's like family, something happened, God forbid. God, but I don't see myself moving back to Jersey anytime soon. Yes, I think the only man watching this live, Zach. I know there's other men in here, Zach. Female point of view, you have to be able to attract people your way rather than your looks, style, energy. Native Houston watching. Okay, Big Nick. Also, we need a Houstonian to share their side. Oh my gosh, quick! You're gonna be like 5 minutes. But if someone from Houston has lived in Atlanta as well, or yeah, but I don't know if we have anyone else. But trying to get this comment, Atlanta's Duke City, but I've never been to Houston. Really, Shimobi? How you never been to Houston? You Nigerian? How old are you? No, you gotta come. You playing? Have you been to Texas at all? Chimobi, you're from Chicago too. What's your favorite? We need to chat. I'm torn between Houston and ATL, and I'm gay as well, so I can use your insight. Oh, hey, okay, that makes then yeah, like what our caller mentioned, and it's her being real. Like I said, us talk is not necessarily. I feel like some people look like you're being offended. Like no, it's being real. Like people are going to go to where they feel comfortable,
It's like
wherever.
why Nigerians move to Houston.
Right, they get the weather. They feel like they're still in
Nigerian.
Nigeria. Right, they get that. They don't have to worry about. I say that ask them about that all the time. How did you ever adjust to this cold in New Jersey? I'm born and raised here. I haven't adjusted. People say all the time, "Oh, you lived in America your whole life. You're still worried about cold." I don't like cold. I can't imagine coming from somewhere that doesn't get past 60 degrees and coming to live in freaking like Boston. Like you have to be real. Like you go to where it has what you're looking for.
Relate.
Right. I worry a lot about Houston not being gay friendly. I want to feel comfortable where I live. Honestly, a lot of people talk about Montrose being very gay friendly and the Heights. So there are neighborhoods that are, and you mentioned Montrose is one of the areas you're really into. Montrose and the Heights are known for being very gay friendly. So we do have the neighborhoods per se, but of course it's not going to be on the level as Atlanta, right? Like I'm not going to sit here and act like it is because it isn't. But like there are some. The mayor, is the mayor? No, they
Do you feel as if Charlotte is gay friendly? Because I've noticed, I feel as if I see a lot of I feel like I see a lot of gay women in Charlotte. A lot. Like I've been noticing it more and more often these days. I'm just curious to know if you consider Charlotte to be gay friendly.
Houston, we grew up together and being known each other since kids. Students are hard with letting new people in. That makes sense. I'm just finding a home versus a house. Whoo. It feels cool catching reading everybody comments. I got to go now. Yeah, did it onya obulan na umuibo nke onya na yeah gazi. I don't this gazi. I don't know what gazi means, but that bye. Catch you phone. Okay, let's go. Honestly, forget. I can't imagine Houston being as friendly as ATL to the culture. Hopefully, Sony can chime in on gay culture, but I've been told they're more conservative. Yeah, but it's still here. Trust me. But of course, it's not.
City.
It's not on Atlanta's level. Always thought Houston was gay friendly. Let me see. Katie's where I live. Houston's the biggest of all cities. Let's see. These are the last day. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. People. Yeah. I'm from. But I live in Katy. Let's see. The thing about Houston is so big that people from North Side might literally never been to the South, so you just got to move around. Yes, they say you could be in a long distance relationship with someone in Houston, and I believe it. Um, Haven, I like your approach of visiting multiple times before choosing. I always say at least visit once. I meet people that they've never even visited the city and they move to it. I don't know how people do that because there's so much you learn from just going there and like experiencing it. Like you said, even going to different areas and catching the vibe. Oh my God, I'm hour 40 minutes. Um, Jersey, yes, Jersey stand up. It seems like ATL has a lot of pressure. Okay, we read that. Okay, we have a lot of comments trying to get through the. Thank you, Chins, for another vlog. No, you're welcome, Hanif. It's not easy, an hour 40 minutes. Thank you guys so much. People really like this topic. We have a lot of. I think this is live. The most people we had attend. We hit up to like 50 something at a point. So appreciate you guys joining. So we have a really big Nigerian community in Houston. Yes, we do, Big Nick. I just want to meet non-Nigerian African men in Houston just to spice it up. I'm tired.
Tell your Kenyan move. Go tell your Kenyan men to come outside. Tell them to come out.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's funny. They're here. The
And
issue.
Miss Mermaid, you're the one that's lived like in Paris, right? And I know you're in Charlotte with me too, but you say you don't really go out much. Mia's telling us to go to Noto 101 in the district. Noto 101 still on my list. You know what? This weekend, enough is enough. Enough is enough. But by the time y'all see me next Tuesday, I'm gonna tell y'all that I went to Noto 101. The guy, you meet a lot of people. Yes. Phyllis said regarding affordability, GA has state income taxes where Texas is not. So wouldn't that make the lower home prices in land about the same as Houston, Texas? Granted, property tax in Texas are a bit higher. Yeah, we talked about that a bit earlier. Talked about that early.
ATL is still the South. Once you leave ATL Metro, it's not progressive at all. Yup. And people forget that same thing, kind of like Houston. Like people, you go to these places. I told you I was in the mall and I heard these white women there acting like, yo, these they sound really country. Like you forget because you're in the city and everyone is from everywhere, number one. So you have a mix of people from everywhere. So you don't really get like that southern vibe. But when you drive like an hour out, you're like, oh yeah, I'm in Texas. Oh yeah, I'm in Houston. I'm in Georgia. Oh, this was really fun, you guys. Maybe we'll do a part two. Let us know other two cities you guys want us to compare. It has, of course, been somewhere that
You know what's coming up next Tuesday. We already know what's going to come up
so,
next Tuesday.
we really enjoyed. This was fun, interactive, an hour 40 minutes. Oh my gosh, I can't believe time just flies by. How do we sit here and talk for that long? But make sure you guys like this video. So here's the algorithm. You see how people found this. I call Chico found this from the algorithm. People don't understand when we tell you guys to like. It's very important because that's how it gets pushed out into YouTube and suggested, and people are able to see it and join. So make sure you guys like this video. Thank you guys all who have given a super chat. We appreciate it. There's a lot of conversation still.
Yeah, it looks like we all going to Noda 101 this weekend. What do y'all say? Salt and Culture, Miss Mermaid. Haven says she likes Noda 101. Mia's one that's been recommending it forever.
You
But
said where are we going this weekend? Where are we going this weekend? It's not only Charlotte.
you know where you would be going.
Where are we going? Where are we going?
Ever to go see her Kenyan men that she's not finding. Tell her, take her to go find the Kenyan men. She
It's a
said,
shame. I've never been to Texas. Great stream, Nnena and Ngozi. Y'all shouldn't forget to hit the like button. Yes, everyone. Thank you so much. You also hit the super chat, super chat, either or, but at least like this video. We appreciate you guys so much for sticking through, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday with another juicy video.
This is for Beautiful Butterfly, the one that asks about the wigs before we leave. This is the lady. Salt and Culture. If you're serious, DM me. Who else? Miss Mermaid. It looks like Miss Mermaid. Salt. Are we going to another 101 this weekend? Let me know the move, because yes, let's have a Charlotte.
Houston people, where are we going? It's not only Charlotte. Houston people, where are we going?
Jealous. You have Evie. Stop being jealous. Okay, some of my subscribers are trying to turn up. Stop being jealous. Y'all can do that another time. So let me know. Hit me up on Instagram if you're really gonna try out this another 101, because I realized, just like you, Miss Mermaid. Yes, Charlotte meetup. I can relate to your last comment. Girl, this has been on my list forever. I'm so lazy with my social life here, but I wouldn't mind more close friends locally. I'm not gonna lie, over the past year, I've gotten really lazy and comfortable living in Charlotte, North Carolina. Very, very comfortable. And I feel like I do need to go out of my comfort zone more. So it would be nice to just have a group of people just to do things with, try out new things. Because I'm the type of person, I'm down, but I also kind of need a push. For anyone that's close to me, I'm the down person, but these days someone kind of has to drag me. I'm not bragging about that, but I can easily stay home, easily. But when we go, I'm like, okay.
You've been in Charlotte for a while. It's not new to you.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, right? It's very, very familiar. Very, very familiar. So yes, thank you guys so much
for Instagram. That's your Instagram, right? I just put up our Instagram. People are asking for our Instagram. Make sure you follow us. We're trying to be more active with content regarding Charlotte and Atlanta. I said Charlotte, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Houston. Mia say I need a Facebook. I have Facebook, but I barely use it. I'll be honest. Facebook is not my thing. I feel like it's more for older people and foreigners. It's just and people get very nasty on Facebook. But Instagram is where if you want to contact me, Instagram. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, Instagram. Haven said I can drag you to Mad Miles. I go to Mad Miles. I went last Tuesday. It was freezing and it gets dark early now. But FYI, we did the poll. We're gonna move the lives to Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. for now. Sundays did win in the vote. Obviously, that is a better day. But for now, we're just gonna keep it on Tuesdays. Maybe eventually we'll go back to the weekends, just because Mondays are rough, and then Tuesday I feel like there's nothing going on, nothing to do by then. The weekend, whatever, you've recovered, gotten yourself together. I like this Tuesday night vibe. I don't know, for some reason I just like it better. I just won't make Mad Miles on Tuesdays. I'll try I've never been to Mad Miles on a Saturday, so maybe I'll try that actually this Saturday, Mad Miles on the Saturday. But again.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye.